find opportunities to be with women of different faith traditions, to take time to get to know them, to participate in circle, so that new doors and windows can be opened, and that they'll be able to share their life too, because what they have to say is valuable. You know, women have a tendency to think that what they have to say is not important, especially if, depending on what they're doing or what stage they are in life. But actually, it's their voices which feed everybody else. And so I'd say, get out there and be who you are. But even if you're shy about it, I mean, go into a circle knowing that it's safe and people are going to embrace you. You don't have to feel that you have to be something you're not.
I'd say to women who would like to recognize the divine that is all around them, for one thing, get friends around you, and it may just be one. Now I am not discounting the idea that spiritual journeys are individual, and I absolutely believe in that quiet time where God speaks to each and every one, or that the voice is present in our hearts. But I know from her own writings, Mary Baker Eddy valued friendship and how one friendship would mean a great deal. Look in the eyes of each one. You don't have any idea how much you might mean to the woman across from you. And to be available. Just available. I would ask my Mexican friends, what does Guadalupe do? She shows up. She's there and she's available. There is power in being present and simply expressing the love that is the divine, being the window where God shines through. And then, even if it's so dark in your own experience, be that window yourself. And recognize it and value it in others. All we know of God is what we see in each other.
Turn towards the healing of women around the world. So suppose I would say, one, that they're not alone in, like, you do have PTSD or you've suffered and never told anyone before. I would encourage women to tell someone that they trust. Even if it's not actually reaching out for help, if there's just a disclosure of an experience and sharing of what can be a very heavy burden that women carry for a long time.
Listen to each other's stories, and when they're listening, listen for where the sacred is, where the miracles happen, where life opens up, and sit with people in their pain and in their successes. And don't try to be perfect, because God loves you right now. You are loved. Each one of us is loved. That's why I'm here. That's why I do the work I do, is because that made all the difference to my life, is that there was something beyond me that was leading me somewhere. Life isn't wandering. There really is meaning. And to be with people who are looking for that. That if you're listening to this, you are amongst people who want to know something, where there is more in life, where there is more, and be with the people who are interested in the more of life. And ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And don't be afraid to ask someone to mentor you. When you feel as though you need some guidance, ask for it. Because we're here. We're here.
It's not a matter of less privilege. I mean, sometimes we do not look at our own self. When I teach, I always tell my students that do not underestimate yourself, because this universe, from the very beginning of time, has been thinking about you. There is nothing outside of this universe. So from that moment that this universe began, this universe has been thinking about you and you alone, and waiting for the proper time, appropriate time, so you are here. So it means in this design of the created universe, you have been given a chance, a space in time. And that is such an important realization that sometimes we do not pay attention to. You have been given space in time in this design of the universe. Mm-hmm. So who is privileged, who is not privileged? Everybody is privileged. So I have to go back to that importance and that life that this universe has been given me. I cannot underestimate that. That is one thing. Second is that women especially are the mothers. And there is an African proverb that says, if you educate a man, you educate one person. If you educate a woman, you educate the entire village. So that it is a greater power within women that sometimes we do not pay attention to. My grandmother from my mother's side had so much influence in my life. One of the things that she always used to tell me was that probably she would see that I am ambitious and all those things. She would tell me, if you would like to sit on the first row, qualify yourself for that row. Otherwise you would be pushed to the second row and the third row and ultimately out. So do not wait for other people and do not blame other people for your failings. You have to qualify yourself. Even when you qualify yourself, it is hard, but you have to qualify yourself. It means that it is a personal responsibility.
I'd like to share a quote from one of my Tibetan teachers named Khandro Rinpoche. Mm-hmm. About being a woman spiritual leader in the world that's still largely dominated by men and male patriarchy. And one time in a teaching she said, if you feel that in your experience being a woman has been a hindrance, try not to be bothered. So to me, I took away the meaning that there's the constant question and struggle of being a woman in a man's world, but that we decide to move through it by calling and cultivating all the resources that we have around us and seeing the resources, choosing to see the strengths of other women that will take us to the next level, choosing to reclaim our own power. Trying not to be bothered, intentionally trying not to be bothered.